Assalamu alaikum. This is Mongmara Singh welcoming you to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. The two policemen sentenced to death in murder case of Abu Sayyid, first martyr of July uprising. Faisal Karim accused in Usman Hadi murder case sentenced to 10 years in prison in arms case. 22 bills including Bangladesh Labour Amendment Bill passed in Jatiyo Shongshad. Counting underway after voting in Bogora 6 by-election and Sherpur 3 general election held. A government to work together with stakeholders to implement election pledges, says Information and Broadcasting Minister. Australian Parliamentary delegation pays courtesy call on Prime Minister Tribunal. Revenue collection to increase stopping tax evasion, says NBR chairman. Israel's severe airstrikes kill 254 in Lebanon amid ceasefire. Iran alleges violation of conditions. And Bangladesh hockey team clinched 2026 Asian Games berth with thrilling shootout win over Hong Kong. Viewers, those were the top stories. Now moving on to the details. The International Crimes Tribunal has sentenced two police personnel, Amir Hussain and Sujan Chandra Roy, to death in the murder case of martyr Abu Sayyid during the July mass uprising of 2024. Additionally, three others have been sentenced to life imprisonment. In the verdict, the tribunal also handed down various terms of imprisonment to 25 of the remaining 30 accused in the case. The verdict was delivered today by the three-member International Crimes Tribunal 2, led by Justice Nazrul Islam Chaudhuri. The other two judges on the tribunal are Justice Muhammad Manjurul Basit and Justice Nur Muhammad Shahriar Kabir. The announcement of the verdict was broadcast live on the prosecution's Facebook page and Btv News. Later, Chief Prosecutor Muhammad Aminul Islam briefed journalists stating that the prosecution would decide whether to appeal to a higher court for enhanced sentences against any of the accused after receiving the full verdict. Earlier, on June 30 last year, the tribunal formally accepted the charges against 30 accused, including the then Vice-Chancellor of Begum Rokeya University, Hasibur Rashid, and began the trial. During the 8-month-long judicial process, testimonies of a total of 25 witnesses, including Abu Sayyid's father and the official who conducted the autopsy on his body, were recorded. Out of the 30 accused, 6 are currently under arrest. They are former proctor of Begum Rokeya University, Shariful Islam, former assistant registrar Rafiul Hassan Russell, former contractual staff of the Registrar's Office Muhammad Anwar Parvez, former assistant sub-inspector of police Amir Hussain, former constable Sujan Chandra Roy, and band Chhatraleague leader Imran Chaudhuri alias Akash. Among the accused, 24 individuals, including former Vice-Chancellor Hasibur Rashid and the then DIG of Rangpur range, remain absconding including those who have been sentenced to death. A court has sentenced Faisal Karim Masood, the prime accused in the Usman Hadi murder case, to 10 years of rigorous imprisonment in a case filed under the Arms Act at Adabur police station in the capital. The verdict was delivered today by Dhaka Additional Metropolitan Sessions Judge Mahmoodul Mohsin. After hearing the closing arguments last Sunday, the court had set today for the delivery of the verdict. As Faisal Karim remains absconding, an arrest warrant has been issued against him. According to the case details, on November 7, 2024, Rep 2 conducted a raid at a flat in the Baitullah Aman Housing Society area of Adabur. Faisal Karim was detained while attempting to flee. During a search of his residence, Rep recovered a foreign-made pistol along with 4 rounds of ammunition. The following day, Rep Habildar Mashur Rahman filed a case against Faisal Karim under the Arms Act at Adabur police station. However, he was out on bail in this case. The case stated that Faisal Karim is a listed armed criminal involved in extortion and drug trafficking in the area. He had long been leading organized criminal activities, including extortion, murder and attack, and land grabbing. He kept illegal firearms in his possession to carry out these crimes. After the investigation, Sub-Inspector Jait Hassan of Adabur police station submitted the charge sheet against Faisal Karim on March 28 last year. During the trial, the court recorded testimonies from 13 out of 14 witnesses. A total of 16 bills, including the Bangladesh Labour Amendment Bill, the Supreme Court Secretariat Repeal Bill, the Supreme Court Judges Appointment Repeal Bill, and the Public Procurement Amendment Bill 2026 were passed in the Jatiya Sangsad today. The parliamentary session began in the morning with Speaker Hafizuddin Ahmed Bir Bikram in the chair. The Leader of the House and Prime Minister Tariq Rahman was present in the session. According to the day's agenda, a question were raised and answers were placed on the table. A notice is submitted under Rule 71 to draw attention to urgent matters of public importance were deferred. Other bills passed today include the National Human Rights Commission Repeal and Reintroduction Bill, Bangladesh Energy Regulatory Commission Amendment Bill, National Sports Council Amendment Bill, Bangabandhu Sports Welfare Foundation Amendment Bill, Sheikh Hasina National Youth Development Institute Bill, Overseas Employment and Migrants Bill, Local Government Union Parishad Amendment Bill, and the Legal Aid Amendment Bill 2026. The bills were passed by voice vote after being placed in Parliament by the respective ministers. Meanwhile, in response to a question placed on the table, Road Transport and Bridges Minister Sheikh Rabul Alam informed Parliament that a fare chart for air-conditioned buses and minibuses will be introduced soon. He also said that measures will be taken to display fares digitally inside public transport vehicles. The minister added that under the Road Transport Act, there is a provision to form passenger and freight transport committees in every metropolitan city, division and district, along with defining their responsibilities. He said that under Rule 1660A of the Road Transport Rules 2022, the respective committees determine the number of vehicles and approve route permits based on road capacity. Sheikh Rabul Alam further stated that under Section 32(2) of the Road Transport Act 2018, fare rates and minimum fares for public transport are fixed or revised through official gazette notifications. Accordingly, the revised fares are published on the BRTA website, and transport operators and owners are instructed to display them visible inside vehicles. He also mentioned that a fare charts for non-AC buses and minibuses are already in place. Voting has ended to the Bogura 6 by-election and the Sherpur 3 general election. The polling started at 7:30 a.m. and continued uninterruptedly till 4:30 p.m. BNP Chairman Tareq Rahman was elected from 2 constituencies in the 13th parliamentary election held on 12 February. As he vacated the Bogura 6 seat, a by-election was held there. Meanwhile, voting in Sherpur 3 was previously postponed following the death of a contesting candidate after the election schedule had been announced. 3 candidates are contesting in Bogura 6 constituency. There are BNP's Rezul Karim Bacha, Bangladesh Jamaat-e-Islami Abidur Rahman and Bangladesh Development Party candidate Alamin Talukdar. Around 250 members of the army have been deployed as a striking force. In addition, members of BGP, RAP, police and Ansar VDP are on duty to ensure security. In Sherpur 3 constituency, 3 candidates are in the race. They are BNP's Muhammadul Haq Rubel, Jamaat-e-Islami Mashadur Rahman Masud and Basat Marxist candidate Mizanur Rahman. About 140 army personnel have been deployed there as a striking force, alongside BGP, RAP, police and Ansar VDP members to maintain law and order during the voting. A Chief Election Commissioner AMM Nasiruddin has said the by-election in Bogura 6 and the general election in Sherpur 3 were held in a peaceful environment. He made the remarks today while briefing journalists at the Law and Order Coordination Cell at the Election Commission building in the capital's Agargaon after reviewing the election situation. Election Commissioners Abdur Rahman Masood, Anwarul Islam Shorkar and Abul Fazl Muhammad Sanaullah, along with Senior Secretary to the Election Commission Secretariat Akhtar Ahmed and other senior officials were present at the briefing. The CEC said that the Bogura and Sherpur polls were given to the same level of importance as the 12 February election and all necessary measures have been taken to maintain law and order. He also said that the number of BGP personnel has been increased in Sherpur due to its proximity to the border. Information and Broadcasting Minister Johiruddin Shapon has said the government is set to take immediate steps to reform the country's media landscape, aiming to turn abstract promises into concrete action. He said this while addressing a discussion titled Bangladesh Reform Tracker, Relevance of Media at the Economic Reporters Forum ERF auditorium in the capital today. The ERF and the Citizen Platform for SDGs, Bangladesh jointly organized the discussion. Convener of the Citizens Platform for SDGs, Dr. Debapriya Bhattacharya, along with the executives from various media outlets, addressed the occasion. The session was presided over by ERF President Dolot Akhtar Malla. Highlighting the critical moment for reform as a new minister under a new government, Johiruddin Shapon identified several priority areas for immediate attention, including the Media Reform Commission, protection for journalists, journalist welfare and policy development. He said the government is considering restructuring the Media Reform Commission, potentially along the lines of the British model. The minister stressed the need for clear advertisement policy and transparency in newspaper circulation figures. He also said that discussions with media bodies, including the Editors' Council and associations of television channel owners and digital communication stakeholders, have already begun. Reflecting on the political changes of August 5, 2024, the minister said the government has learned from past mistakes. He emphasized that critics and investigative findings by journalists should be viewed as assets for governance. He asked the integration of reform trackers into the official decision-making process to ensure better outcomes in the current technological era. The minister reiterating that a proper structural environment must be created so that all media professionals can work freely and without fear of harassment. During the event, a memorandum of understanding between the ERF and the Citizens platform was inked on Bangladesh Reform Tracker for enhancing collaboration in tracking, monitoring, and promoting reform activities systematically. An Australian parliamentary delegation led by the Speaker of House of Representatives Milton Dick paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Tariq Rahman. The 13-member delegation met the Premier at the Prime Minister's office in the Jatiya সংসদ Bhavan this afternoon. Deputy Speaker Barrister Kaisar Kamal, Chief Whip Nurul Islam Moni, and State Minister for Foreign Affairs Shama Ubaid Islam were present during the meeting. 10 selected renowned schools and colleges in the Dhaka metropolitan area will hold in-person classes 3 days a week, while the remaining 3 days will be conducted online from next week. Education Minister A.N.M. Yasrul Haq Milan announced the decision at a press conference held at the International Mother Language Institute in the capital today. The minister said the hybrid system will initially be launched in these institutions within metropolitan areas. Earlier, he inaugurated a national workshop on incorporating technical courses into the curriculum at the same venue. Speaking at the event, the minister noted that copying has now taken a digital form and said the government is introducing laws to curb digital malpractice. He also announced that a future SSC and HSC examination will be held under a unified question paper system. National University Vice Chancellor Dr. A.S.M. Amanullah and Secondary and Higher Education Division Secretary Abdul Khalik also addressed the occasion. The National Board of Revenue Chairman Mohammad Abdul Rahman Khan said that a special initiative are being launched to ramp up revenue collection by identifying and plugging areas of tax evasion. He said this at a pre-budget exchange meeting at the World Trade Center in the city today. The NBR chief admitted that the current revenue collection rate is not satisfactory to either the government or the general public. He emphasized that the primary goal of these new initiatives is to ensure equity. If major tax evasion is stopped, the burden of additional pressure on those who pay taxes regularly will be reduced. The Chittagong Chamber Administrator Muhammad Mutahir Hussain presided over, among others, National Board of Revenue members Barrister Mutasim Billah Faruqi, Muhammad Mubinul Kabir, Muhammad Azizur Rahman, former President of Chittagong Chamber Amir Humayun Mahmud Chaudhuri, President of Chittagong Metropolitan Chamber Khalil Rahman, President of Women's Chamber Abida Mustafa, business leader and concerned official were present. Meanwhile, Board of Revenue Chairman Muhammad Abdul Rahman Khan held a view exchange meeting with divisional and district level government officials at the City Circuit House in the morning. The chairman said taxpayers hold a formal right to deregister their taxpayer identification number if they no longer fall within the taxable income bracket. Just as citizen has the right to register for TIN, they also have the right to deregister it, he added. The chairman emphasized that taxpayers will no longer need to visit physical offices to pay tax or VAT, as all processes are being moved to digital platforms to increase transparency and efficiency. Chattogram Divisional Commissioner Dr. Muhammad Jayuddin presided over, among others, officials from various government departments including the Board of Revenue, Customs, VAT Commissionerate, Tax Department were present. Earlier in the day, NBR chairman visited the Chattogram Ma Shishu and General Hospital where he was honored with a reception. Hospital's Executive Committee President S.M. Murshid presided over, among others, Medical College Principal Oshim Kumar Burwa and Directors Dr. Nurul Haq and Rafiqul Islam were present on the occasion. Now, international news. U.S. President Donald Trump wrote on social media that all U.S. ships, aircrafts and military personnel will remain in place around Iran until the real agreement on a ceasefire is fully complied with, warning of more conflict otherwise. Lebanon has declared a day of mourning after a wave of Israeli attacks killed at least 254 people and injured more than 1,000 in a single day on Wednesday. Lebanon's health minister appeals for international assistance as the health system strains to treat massacre civilian casualties from the day of Israeli attacks. Lebanese Prime Minister Nawaf Salam's office said he is working to mobilize all of Lebanon's political and diplomatic resources to stop the Israeli killing machine. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Lebanon was not included in the ceasefire deal between the U.S. and Iran. Netanyahu said, U.S.-Iran ceasefire does not include Lebanon. Israeli Prime Minister welcomed U.S. decision to suspend attacks on Iran, but said the truce did not apply to Lebanon. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said the U.S.-Iran terms are clear on Lebanon and that Washington must choose between the ceasefire or continued war via Israel. It cannot have both. Meanwhile, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has condemned massive strikes by Israel across Lebanon that resulted in hundreds of civilians being killed and injured, including children. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said a ceasefire between the US and Iran has also to apply to Lebanon. A ship traffic through the Strait of Hormuz has remained at an effective standstill in the 24-hour period since Iran conditionally lifted its blockade on the critical shipping lane amid a fragile ceasefire with the US and Israel. Since the start of the war with Iran, an average of 7 ships, tankers, bulk carriers, and container ships have transited the strait each day compared to pre-war traffic of more than 130 vessels a day. Yesterday, Iran announced a 2-week period during which safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces. According to the available tracking data, but in the day since, only 7 ships appeared to make the journey through. Of those vessels, 6 were bulk cargo carriers, which traveled through Iran's so-called toll booth route along the country's coast instead of the typical shipping lane through the middle of the strait. 3 of the bulk carriers were Chinese-owned and 3 were Greek-owned. The 7th vessel that transited was a Chinese-owned oil and chemical tanker, but its path was unclear. It appeared to vanish off the tracking map as it sailed through the strait, indicating the vessel tracking data was either turned off or disrupted. The trickle of ships through the critical shipping lane over the past 24 hours has been typical of the traffic scene since the start of the war. Iran reportedly told mediators it would limit the number of ship transits through the strait to about a dozen a day as part of the ceasefire. Some reports from Iranian state media said Iran has closed the strait again in response to Israeli strikes in Lebanon, while other reports state Iran's Revolutionary Guards have shared a map to help ships avoid naval mines in the strait. But even if the Strait of Hormuz had returned to normal overnight, it would likely take much longer for oil and gas supply chains around the world to recover. The strait has been key part of negotiations between the U.S. and Iran, with U.S. President Donald Trump earlier threatening the whole civilians will die if the shipping lane was not opened. Iranian attacks and threats on vessels in and around the strait have strangled the shipping lane since the U.S. and Israel first bombed Iran on February 28. Voting for the high-stakes polling in Assam, Kerala and Puducherry has kick-started today. While the BJP is seeking another win in Assam, Kerala's left front is aiming for a fifth straight term. In Puducherry and Rangoswamy's AINRC is plotting a fourth win. The voting is underway for 126 seats in Assam, 140 in Kerala and 30 in Puducherry in this phase of the election. The results will be declared on May 4. In Assam, the key contest is between the BJP and Congress. The election will be the first since the elimination in the northeastern state in 2023, a controversial exercise that led to the redrawing of the constituency in areas where the Muslim community's voters were influential. In Kerala, the election is shaping as a three-day battle between the BJP, the ruling left, and the Congress, with the BJP expected to do better than usual. In Puducherry, the contest is between Rangoswamy and our Congress, which is allied with the BJP and AIADMK against the Congress-DMK alliance. Actor Vijay's Tamilanga victory, Chattogram TVK will make its electoral debut. Now, sports news. Hockey. Bangladesh's national hockey team secured a berth to the 2026 Asian Games following a high-octane 3-2 shootout victory over Hong Kong. The game ended in a frantic 4-4 draw during regulation time. The Red and Green Brigade started with intent, charging to a 2-0 lead within the first 5 minutes thanks to strikes from Rakibul Hassan and Amirul Islam. However, Hong Kong responded instantly. A Park Aeo-Pak and Ishtiaq Ahmed netted twice to level the score at 2-2 by the 32nd minute. In the second half, Ashraful Islam regained the lead for Bangladesh from a penalty corner in the 41st minute, only for Hong Kong's Kuldeep Singh to equalize 5 minutes later. Ashraful appeared to have found the winner with his second goal in the 48th minute, 4-3, but Hong Kong's Felix Him struck back just 60 seconds later to force the tiebreaker.